So now that Arsenal main striker Gabriel Jesus is injured, should Arsenal give Eddie Nketiah a chance at the first team, or should they buy a new striker in January? Now, the worst thing that could have happened to Mikel Arteta's team over the World Cup was losing his best, most influential player of the season, and that's exactly what happened. Gabriel Jesus sustained a serious knee injury and will be out for 3 months. Now, this leaves Arsenal in a precarious situation because they are 5 points ahead of second place Man City, and it's one of their best chances to win the Premier League. Now, no one, and especially Arsenal fans, could believe that Arsenal would even be in this position, but they've been brilliant this season, and the biggest reason why was because of the effect Gabriel Jesus had on this team. Now, he may not get a lot of goals, but he elevated all the players around him. He creates plays, he creates match-winning moments, and he's made all the young stars around him in Martinelli, Saka and Captain Odegaard into better players. And now Arsenal are a top team and they can beat anyone on their day. So Arsenal are on this amazing run, then the World Cup comes and then it's bit Arsenal in the arse, and they are now left in a conundrum of what they should do in January transfer market that opens in a few days. Now, Jamie Carragher pointed out the other day that Arsenal must buy reinforcements in January, and they must not cower or try to be shrewd, because that never works out if you have title ambitions. He pointed out Tottenham in 2016 season, where they had the opportunity to pip Leicester to the league. They were playing great attacking football, but they relied too much on Harry Kane and did not buy anyone in mid-season, and ultimately missed out on winning the league. So Arsenal don't want to be in that position. Now, it's only 14 games in, but Arsenal were in the form of their life, and the World Cup has completely ruined that. Now, will Arsenal cope without their main striker? And on the team sheet, they only have one other striker to replace Jesus, and that's youngster Eddie Nketiah. So the other option is to not buy anyone, right? And is give Eddie Nketiah a chance. And they should just spend the money on a centre midfielder, a replacement for Partey or Xhaka, which was originally Arsenal's plan, a bigger priority to buy a reinforcement in centre midfield. So should they buy a centre midfielder or should they buy a striker? The plans change because of Jesus. Now, if they do that and then leave their hopes in Nketiah, and then Arsenal don't win the league, they fall flat on their faces and they lose their grip on top, it will be a massive regret for the club. The fans will be raging and it will just be an absolute missed opportunity. All Arsenal fans don't, of course, care about the balance sheets. They just want a new striker. If you're going to buy a new striker, buy it. But this solution isn't as easy for the Arsenal chiefs and the board of directors, because if they buy a new striker and let's say he bangs in the goals in January and February, but then Jesus returns from injury, what's going to happen to this new star striker? Is he just going to go back to sitting in the bench next to Nketiah? And instead of, they could have invested the money on a centre midfielder, which was a bigger priority. So this is a conundrum that the Arsenal chiefs and board of directors have to ponder on. So the other option is just sticking with Nketiah and rely on him to step in for Jesus, which could be a reasonable option, because it's only last year that Arsenal gave Eddie Nketiah a new 5-year 100k a week contract. So what will be the point if they don't trust him to step in for Jesus when the time calls? Nketiah has been absolutely itching to prove his worth to the manager. Whenever he's come on as a substitute this season, he's run like a dog, trying his absolute best for the team. So it's not a bad shout to think Eddie Nketiah can do the job and live up to his promise. Nketiah is a product of Arsenal Academy. He's certainly got the chemistry with the whole team. He's improved each season, his finishing, his fitness, his body looks great, and he just looks a better fit for the team than he used to. So the good thing with Arsenal's situation right now is that they have a run of 3 to 4 games before they can make any actual moves in the January transfer market. So this would be a good way for the manager, for the board of directors, for the fans to assess if Nketiah can actually do the job. Now, Nketiah doesn't have to score a lot of goals to prove his worth. All he really has to do is make sure Saka and Martinelli and Odegaard are getting in their chances and they're burying the chances and scoring goals. And as long as Arsenal are winning games, I don't think the manager and the board will be panicking and they won't be rushing for a new striker. So the two options was to go gung-ho and get a new striker and just go for the title, or be shrewd, stick with Nketiah and spend the money somewhere else, maybe in midfield. So it makes sense to give the reserve striker Nketiah a chance. But if Arsenal don't win the league and they decide to give Nketiah a chance and they regret not buying anyone in January, and it would just be a massive regret, and this type of attitude ultimately doesn't win you leagues. You have to be ruthless, aggressive in the market. A team like Man City would instantly just buy a striker, and that's what wins them trophies. So on the one hand, Arsenal are better going for it big instead of trying to be shrewd in the transfer market, because who knows what the opportunity to win the league again will be like this. Arsenal are 5 points ahead, they're 14 games in, they're in great form, and Man City are losing matches here and there. So in conclusion, I do think Arsenal should go big and sign a big striker in the January transfer market. And to avoid the conundrum of what's going to happen when Jesus comes back and now you have 2-star strikers. What's going to happen? So my solution to that is, instead of buying a pure centre forward, they should get a hybrid striker that can also play on the wing, left wing or right wing, because Arsenal were already in the market for a winger to support Martinelli and Saka. Because besides Reece Nelson and Smith Rowe, who's been injured all season, Arsenal don't really have any wingers to back up Martinelli and Saka, so they need a winger anyways. So if they buy a striker, a good striker that can also play in the wing, you're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. It's a double whammy. So when Jesus returns, you can move that striker to the wing, or you can move Jesus to the wing. So try buy a hybrid player, and that could be a win for Arsenal. You have players like Joao Felix, Jonathan David, Mudryk, and these will be great additions to Arsenal's quest for a Premier League title, because again, who knows when Arsenal will get this great chance again, and they have to go big to try win the league and try knock Man City off their perch. Thank you for listening to the video. Please subscribe for more content.